DHS says, quote, all detainees are provided with 3 meals a day, water, and have access to phones to communicate with their family members and lawyers. No one is denied access to proper medical care, end quote. That's a lot. Joining me now is the Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. Congressman Krishnamoorthi serves on the Oversight and Reform Committee, among others. Congressman, it's good to see you. Every time you and I have this conversation, it's worse than the last time.
Yeah. It really is. And I think that at this point, we can't believe anything that DHS or ICE says about the current situation in Chicago. There's a guy named Greg Bovino, who's the local commander for ICE, and he's been found to lie to the court. I'm hoping that he's held in contempt. At this point, multiple judges have, as you said, enjoined or issued a temporary restraining order with regard to the conditions at Broadview, which is basically a detention center at this point. They've also enjoined the use of excessive force against the media as well as the public. This guy Bovino, this Bovino character, actually threw a tear gas canister into a crowd for fun, including around children. This is absolutely unacceptable. It's un-American. It's unconstitutional. It's got to stop.
You know, I was talking to Brad Lander earlier about these habeas hearings where people go to court for their actual hearing. They get given a court date. They think that they're good until the court date, and then they literally walk outside and they get arrested. A lot of these people don't have lawyers. They got a notice to appear, so they show up, which is what you should lawfully do. They think they're following the rules, then they get arrested. Now we look at what goes on in Chicago, where people's families don't know where they are. They might be in Broadview. They might be in another state. Talk to me about the legality of all this. This is literally people being disappeared.
That's right. It's illegal, obviously, for various reasons. I actually, in my district, numerous cell phone messages, text messages were sent summoning people to appear at an ICE facility downtown. They appeared and then they were snatched and then transferred to other states. When I and my colleague, Jonathan Jackson, appeared at that ICE facility to do oversight, we were then evicted as trespassers and escorted out by the CPD, Chicago Police Department. And so this is kind of a situation that is out of control. I think that people have to continue to speak up and show up and protest. In addition to the litigation, we in Congress have to continue to do our oversight. And that's in part why I'm going to these facilities along with my colleagues and demanding to be able to inspect them without any notice. And we're going to continue to do so. And then finally, we have to hold people accountable who actually support these policies. This is completely un-American at this point.
So let's just be clear, because we saw arrests at Newark when members of Congress and the mayor there went to inspect. You as a member of Congress, very actually different than a mayor, you have the legal right to inspect federal facilities without notice. That's not a weird thing. That is actually something you have the legal right to do.
That's right. Under Section 527 of the appropriations law that actually funded DHS, we have the right to inspect without notice. And so regardless of any policies or protocol that Kristi Noem might put in place, those are not any bars to us being able to inspect at any time. And now more than ever, we need to be able to do that because, as you can tell, there are inhumane conditions within these detention centers. At Broadview, I spoke with one gentleman who actually said that he was forced to sleep standing up. And yes, they had to sleep on the floor next to an overflowing toilet. And so that's why Judge Gettleman called it cruel and unconstitutional. And we have to be able to continue to do our oversight. Now with Congress shut down, I think one of the reasons why it's shut down, in addition to the fact that I think Speaker Johnson doesn't want the Epstein inquiry to continue, he's shutting that down. He's also shutting down the ability for us to call witnesses before the committees. I'm planning to call Kristi Noem and probably Greg Bovino and others. But with the shutdown, it's a convenient way for them to shut down oversight as well.
So interesting, because when we saw Kash Patel go before Congress and we saw the Attorney General go before Congress, we saw a remarkable defiance of oversight. right? This idea, and I think it was messaging largely just for Donald Trump, that we don't answer to Congress. How do we deal with this? Because you may agree with Donald Trump's immigration push, or you may disagree with it, but you should, all 100% of Americans should agree that there should be accountability, and what you see at the DHS is nothing. You can't. It's a foggy glass through which you can't see.
That's right. I think that's correct. I think that most Americans want these officials to answer for what's happening under their watch. And I think that when they defy that type of questioning, it causes Americans of all stripes to recoil. And I think that's in part why Americans resoundingly had a no confidence vote in this administration last Tuesday. That's why Americans of all stripes voted against Republicans and the way that Donald Trump is running this country.
Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate that. Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. Coming